Good morning, good evening, folks. Welcome to SKTV. Good day. Let's share the show, please. Um, please and please, let's share the show, folks. As you join us, tell us where you're joining us from. Like we said yesterday, we have a surprise guest, but um, our guest will be here. But let's share the show, please, folks. Um, let's share the show as you join us, please and please. Let's share the show, folks. Today we will play host here. Let's share the show. Let's share the show, folks. Please and please. Sekou and the rest of the team will be joining us momentarily. But let's share the show. Good morning, good afternoon. Let's share the show. Our guests will be joining us here momentarily. In the meantime, like we can say in Liberia, let's share the show, my people. Let's share the show. I'm talking to the real Liberia way. Let's share the show. A lot to cover, but our guests will be here for a very short period with us. So we want to make sure we are maximizing, utilizing our time with our guests meaningfully. Let me put it that way. So let's share the show, please. If you can, share the show, share the show, share the show. Today, we're going to be talking about the possibility of justice and accountability in Liberia. We want to know if that's possible. Some have said it is not possible. Some have said it is possible. We want to ask some questions relating to the One Economic Crimes Courts, the doability or the feasibility, however you want to term it as. We want to find out, or the possibility. So let's share the show, please, as we make contact with our friends from Liberia. Very interesting conversation today. You don't want to miss it. To be very honest, you do not want to miss it. So let's share the show. Let's invite others so that you can hear for yourself. Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show as you join us. Thank you for sharing the show. Thanks for your help. Let's share the show. Let's share the show, please. Let's share the show. Like I said, Sekou will be joining us here, and right after our guest leaves, we have a moment of reflection, debriefing, however you want to term it as. We have commentaries after the show, right after our guest leaves. There's a lot of things happening, and so we want to uncover or talk about some of these things. But we cannot until we start to share the show, please. Let's share the show, please. It's good to be here. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Like I said, we have a surprise guest. We do. We have a surprise guest. So let's share the show. Let's share the show, please. to all of your contacts. Share the show with people that you don't even like, people that don't like you. Share the show with them. You will not die if you do that. You will not die if you do that. Let's share the show, folks. Please help us share the show. Please. I'm supposed to share your will. I'm supposed to share the show with. Let's share the show, folks. Please. And please. Okay, very good. Very, very good. Folks, let's share the show. Milburn will be joining us here momentarily. Sekou will be joining us. Let's share the show, folks. Milburn. Milburn, are you there?
Yes, indeed. Sorry that I had to do some transition, but I'm here. Steve, what's up? What's going on?
Yes. Everything is well. We're well set to go with our guests. The guests will be in La Broga. Say show face. The guest will show face very soon. We got a surprise. we decided not. We decided not.
That's good.
But those of you listening to us on the radio, please get ready. The guests will be joining us here soon. We have a lot to talk about. Let's share the show. Let's share the show, please. Somebody make me laugh. But let's share the show, folks. Please, let's share the show as much as we can. If you can do it, let's share it. Please. Those of you listening to us on the radio, today is the 10th of March. The month of March seems to be running. It's on a very, very high speed or velocity. The month of March. Today having to be the 10th. March has 31 days. That means we got 21 more days to go, which is mathematically 3 weeks. If I'm right, I don't know if I still know math, but we'll see that math later on. As always, the Liberian women are the most beautiful women on earth, and the Liberian people are the most important people on earth. That being said, we want to have conversation today around justice and accountability. Let's share the show. Let's invite someone. A lot to talk about, Milburn. Milburn, I know we haven't told you the guest beyond closed door, but what is your expectation since we're talking about justice? What do you think? How do you feel? And what say you? What are your expectations? Because we have the guest here for 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes, last 30 minutes, and then we'll get into what say you?
Yes, Steve and the rest of our team, our followers, and that of our viewers, also those of you that also view us. Let me say, indeed, today is the second Sunday. Good evening to all of you. I don't know about you, but indeed we are good, especially sons of the Baptist. Steve and myself, we are sons of the Baptist. Steve, am I correct?
Most definitely so, but my Baptist membership is pending. No, my membership is pending. My membership is pending because the way people are behaving now, my membership pending.
There you go. So indeed, so we are people of the book. So indeed, thank God that indeed you are bringing, or in fact, we will be having on one of the guests. I'll be talking about accountability, so that I don't speak for them. That indeed, because we preach salvation, we preach about Christ being crucified for our sins. So indeed, today will be a very, very great day. So indeed, today is Sunday, the second Sunday, and today is 10th, like you already said. Indeed, the month of March is really, really running with speed. I don't know how, why, but how be it, it's running with speed. So indeed, we are grateful and we are happy. But in Liberia, maybe you want to get some of the updates coming from back home.
Yes. What's going on?
Yes. Indeed, quietly, we are moving, and quietly, Liberians are moving about freely, doing their normal business or businesses. And those who are Christians, they were seen today in their various churches at the place of worship on today. And hopefully, on tomorrow, or maybe day after, or maybe tomorrow, maybe the fast going to be open, or the fast will start with our brothers and sisters who are also Muslims coming from that religion. So in the first month going to start on maybe hopefully tomorrow or the after tomorrow. But howbeit, Steve and the rest of you out there, we are good. We are moving about freely. Everything is okay here back home, apart from the prevailing situations, the work and code, the other thing about the asset recovery and the economy, the bread and butter issues, what going on, the U.S. rate going up high, and so on, the prices of commodities and so forth. So everything is good. We're moving and we are all bearing it. Liberian, they are all moving about freely. So indeed.
Okay. A lot of things going on from what I'm hearing from you. There seems to be a lot going on at once. Yes, tomorrow we have confirmed that our Muslim brothers and sisters will be starting officially the Ramadan. And I believe that will run for a month. We wish them well. We keep them in our prayers as they go through the holy month of Ramadan. And we believe that they have our supports as much as we can support them in their time of fast and prayers. Yes, a lot of things going on. Some of them, we'll talk about them very, very briefly. We'll touch on them, some of them. But you can rest assured. Mr. Kane, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Just to our listening and viewing audience, Monk will be joining us here momentarily. Mr. Kane, what say you? What are your expectations for today?
Today I expect a lot. I expect a very important conversation, and I expect many Liberians to get at the edge of their chair. And I believe after the conversation today, that will also set another pace when it comes to SKTV and our standing when it comes to Liberian politics and what we do, and our non-stop posture, our non-stop mindset that we just want to see a better, Liberia, regardless. Even though we're not going to say we'll dance with the devil to see a better Liberia, but we will work with every Liberian to make sure that Liberia is the best in the world. So speaking of, you and Megbon were talking about some of the happenings in the country. We receive communication supposedly written by the former Auditor General, John Molu.
Yes.
And that is fully loaded. And I think we will be discussing it later on after our guest leaves, and then we'll talk about it.
Yes, Sekou, I think our guest is here. Folks, give me a second.
Yeah, I can see the guest.
Let me do something. Thank you, Sekou.
I think Steve, for some reason, your line was okay.
Yes. Folks, we like to welcome our guest on for today. I know we've been saying the guest, we haven't announced his name, but our guest for today's show is Dr. Alan White. Let's welcome Dr. Alan White to the conversation today. Good afternoon, Dr. White.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and greetings to Liberia as well. How are you?
Doing very well. Good to see you. How's the weather in the East Coast?
Good. It's not as nice as Liberia, but it's nice anyway.
All right. Well, welcome to SKTV, and I would like to jump straight into the conversation. There are some Liberians that follow from around the world who do not know who you are. If you don't mind, please introducing yourself, please.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm a fan of Liberia, and I was the former chief of investigations for the United Nations Special Court for Sierra Leone, where we were able to successfully indict and convict a number of people for war crimes in Sierra Leone, if you remember that bloody 10-year civil war, and one of which was former Liberian President Charles Taylor for his aiding and abetting in engagement in war crimes in Sierra Leone. And although I saw a lot of atrocities during that time frame that we were able to deal with in Sierra Leone, we weren't able to address the atrocities that occurred in Liberia, which was unfortunate. But our jurisdiction left us in Sierra Leone. The reason why we were able to prosecute Charles Taylor is because of direct linkage in aiding and abetting the Revolutionary United Front. And I promised the Liberians that I'll be back and to help you bring justice for the 250,000 people that were killed during the multiple civil wars in Liberia. And I've kept my pledge, and we're very close to achieving that. And so one of the platform issues that President Boykai had run on was that he was going to bring the War and Economic Crime Court to Liberia. And before he got elected and after he got elected, he personally reached out to me and asked me if I would come to Liberia and help him set this court up, establish it. And of course, the conditions were that it had to be set up under international standards, and it had to be set up in Liberia so that people could witness justice, see it firsthand, just like the people in Sierra Leone did. And also which allowed the restoration of the rule of law. If you've never seen what the rule of law looks like or what accountability looks like, then it's new to you. What the people in Sierra Leone got to see is what they had never seen, at least in a long time, is what justice looks like. And that means no one is above the law. And those people that committed atrocities, those that bear the greatest responsibility, not everybody, but those who bear the greatest responsibility would be held to account. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay, thank you, Dr. White. Really quick, I'd like to jump into the conversation. Some Liberians are confused about the most recent tip that surfaced with you and President Jose Yuma Boykai. Mm-hmm. My question to you is, how authentic is that tape? And what do you say in the context of those who are still jittery, confused, or scared about this War and Economic Crimes Court situation?
Well, first of all, that video is 100% authentic. And this was agreed upon with President Boykai. And what this was about is to document him bringing justice to Liberia. This did not happen in Sierra Leone. When President Cabal requested the establishment of the court, all the things that President Boykai needs to do, it was not recorded early on. And so people did not get to see this as it was unfolding. So as we discussed this, there was a documentary company, film company that does this. And so I asked him, I said, this would be, I think, good for the people of Liberia to see this from the very beginning and throughout the process, to which he agreed. And of course, they have to fund these things. So they have to do trailers and those types of things. So this was always going to come out. There was no secret about it. It was just when it was recorded, this ultimately was going to come out because it's a part of a trailer that's going to be used to fundraise for these types of things so that they can continue to tell the story of this court. Your second question is, all I would do is refer to the people to what we did in Sierra Leone. Keep in mind, Sierra Leone came out of civil war. Hostilities ceased in January of 2002. So the country was very raw. It was completely devastated. It was ranked 192 out of 192 as the worst places to live and work for health reasons, all those types of things. And we heard the same arguments back then. Do you remember the Civil Defense Force, Commodores? Okay. Right. Well, we were told that the country wasn't ready for this, although the people wanted it, because people like him, and you have other people threatening similar activities, said that the country will come unraveled, will revert back to civil war. I have 10,000 members of my civil defense force militia that if something happens, the worst, the country's going to be turned upside down. Well, guess what happened? The rule of law is more powerful than the barrel of a gun. Okay. Liberia is much more stable, and the region, even though there are issues, is much more stable now, because back then there were a lot of porous borders and people really didn't know who was who. People were fleeing, rebels were fleeing left and right, Ivory Coast, Guinea, so forth and so on. That's not the case now. Those countries don't want people to flee from justice, that they might be facing justice, and they're not going to let you harbor and hide in their country. So, and I can tell you this, ECOWAS, in discussions with them, they will support it. And most importantly, the U.S. government has pledged full support financially, technically, security, because that's the closest thing that we have to a former colony, is the historical relationship that we have with Liberia, and one that's cherished. And when the Liberian people said that they wanted this, President Boykai said he wanted this. He asked me to come over. That demonstrated to the U.S. government that he was serious. He made a commitment to them, and most importantly, he made the commitment to the Liberian people. And then when they came over to verify that commitment, he said he supported this. He wanted to establish this War and Economic Crime Court. So all the pieces are in place. We're just waiting for him to sign the executive order to establish the Office of War and Economic Crime Court. Okay, that office will be designed to facilitate the establishment of this court, to represent the government, to work with the legislature, to work with the various governments, the U.S. governments, international community, and others that want to support this, to include civil society. So that's what needs to be done. And simultaneously, a letter to the Secretary General requesting assistance in establishing this court, identical to the letter that President Kabah sent Secretary General back in 2000 requesting support. Because this court should be set up, in my judgment, and others believe it, very similarly, if not identical, to the Special Court of Sierra Leone. And the reason being is because it's set up with the United Nations agreement, which allows you to prosecute under international law. Why is that important? Because you'll get cooperation from the international community, number one. And number two, anybody that is prosecuted under international law is not immune from prosecution. So despite what you're hearing currently in Liberia, there is no immunity from prosecution under international law. I must tell you, the first motion that Charles Taylor filed, or one of the first, was a motion to dismiss his case because he had head of state immunity. Well, the trial chambers dismissed that motion immediately based on international law, and there is no immunity. He appealed it to the appeals chamber. The appeal chamber affirmed the trial chambers and said under international law, nobody is immune from prosecution. So that should allay some of the concerns and issues that we're hearing. We have funding taken care of. Keep in mind, we have commitment from the United States Congress, both the House and the Senate, and of course, State Department. So you have everybody that needs to be involved supporting this, okay? And we know there'll probably be others in the international community that want to support it. But right now, everything that you need from funding, security, technical support, and political support you have. So as far as we're concerned, there should be no more delay. This executive order should be signed immediately to establish the office, and then also the letter going to the Secretary General so this process can
Thank you.
undertaken. Anyway.
Thank you, Dr. White. I'm going to allow Sekou to, Sekou can come in with his questions. Sekou?
Sure.
I'm sorry, I was muted for a second. So Dr. White, I want to say thank you. I want to welcome you to SKTV, at least for the first time, and hopefully this will be the beginning of many.
Sure.
I want to say thank you for what you do as far as, human rights and fight against corruption is concerned. We have been following you for so many years, but it's a good day today, and we are very, very happy to have you on here. With that said, many Liberians are confused. So what legal mechanisms need to be established to create a framework for the War and Economic Crimes Court in Liberia?
Well, it's even though it's complex in many respects, it's relatively simple in this regard. We follow the model that we used in Sierra Leone, and that is, like I said, first of all, President Boykai needs to sign that letter to the Secretary General requesting assistance. Okay, and what that will allow the Security Council to get engaged in this issue. They can pass a resolution supporting the establishment of this court. It won't be Chapter 7 authority where they'll immediately be sending security forces, but it will allow an agreement to be signed by the government of Liberia, which will have to be, and a statute created. Okay, there'll be an agreement that'll have to be ratified by the legislature in the UN, and then the legislature, which the Speaker of the House has already supported this 100%. So what they will do is they will enact a statute that complements this agreement. Once that's enacted, then it becomes law. And there will be a lot of factors. And what I would encourage your listeners and viewers, take a look at the Special Court for Sierra Leone establishing documents. When they see that, I know some of them are technical, but the bottom line is we've been down this road before. When we started that court, nobody knew exactly what it was going to look like. And it gave us jurisdiction to prosecute nationally and also internationally. But we chose to go internationally because under international law, for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is the immunity issue. Under international law, nobody. And as you know, these civil wars, during the civil wars, just like in Sierra Leone and as they did in Liberia, there were a lot of peace agreements and there were a lot of deals cut. There were people that were given immunity and these things. They just cloud the issue. And also under international law, there is no death sentence. So that makes taking it to the next level, the international level, the way to go. And that's what we did in Sierra Leone, and it worked out well for us. And like I mentioned, we anticipated some immunity issues. Those came up early on. And because we pursued it under international law, all of those issues became a moot point. So that's really the framework. Mm-hmm. And we need this Office of War and Economic Crime Court to facilitate this within the government. Okay. And that's something that we didn't have in Sierra Leone, and it's very much needed. So if we get this stood up now, all of the issues and concerns, to include even outreach. We did a lot of that on our own outreach at the Office of the Prosecutor. But that's something that this office could do by engaging civil society, educating people of what's going on as we're seeing it. So we've learned a lot over the past 20 years on how these things can be done. And plus it gets immediate Liberian involvement. Okay, there's a lot of good things that can come out of this, and one of which I'll just kind of leave it at this because we're not there yet. But bringing in the University of Liberia's law school, getting them involved, not so much as prosecutors or judges, but getting them involved in this unique opportunity to be maybe internships, these kinds of things. Those are the things we did kind of after the fact once we started the court. But there's a lot of things that we could factor in up front to get engagement early on in Liberia and also inform the people, because as you rightly point out, there's a lot of confusion. And unless you've done this before, it is confusing. But I'm just trying to give you, there is a legal framework. We can do it. We've been there, done that. And so the sooner the president signs the executive order and he signs a letter to the Secretary General, the sooner we can start moving down the road on establishing this court.
Thank you. Thank you. So before I ask my next question on this War and Economic Crimes Court in Liberia, one of the questions I want to ask you, and hope you will answer it. Were you one of the prosecutors on the case involving Charles Taylor, or you were the lead prosecutor?
No, I was not the prosecutor. I was the chief of investigations. So I directed all the criminal investigations where we collected the evidence, working with the assistant trial attorneys and trial attorneys, putting these cases together. So I was responsible for collecting all the evidence and supervising all the war crimes investigations, not only in Sierra Leone, but globally. Because as I quickly found out, the evidence took us literally almost halfway around the world. So that was my responsibility in putting these cases together.
So is that the same role you poised to play this time around, or it's going to be a different role if this War Economic Crimes Court is to be established in Liberia?
What I see as our role, we have a nonprofit foundation. It's called the Advocacy Foundation for Human Rights, nonprofit, Washington, D.C., and we've made this one of our top projects. So what we want to do is support the Office of War and Economic Crime Court, working with them to establish it, help kind of guide, coach, and mentor. But we will not be involved, nor will this office, quite frankly, be involved as we envision it, involved in who gets investigated, who gets prosecuted, who the prosecutor is, all of those things. That's why if we go internationally and we have the agreement with the Secretary General, just like we did in Sierra Leone, all of those positions were appointed by the Secretary General, okay? So you had the Secretary General in consultation with the President of Sierra Leone appoint these positions. The same thing, if we follow the same model, it would be the same thing. So having this agreement with the UN and the government, getting it ratified and then codifying it into law in Liberia, that allows the Secretary General to appoint the prosecutor, the registrar, 2 out of the 3 trial chamber judges, the majority of the appeals court judges. That way it eliminates any pressure from a Liberian put in that position. You can only imagine the threats, the intimidation, the allegations of corruption, the threats against the family, all of these things. So if it's taken out and it's done by an international people that are professionals, and look, we have a lot more people that are well-versed and professional in this area than we did 20 years ago. And so there's a sufficient candidate pool out there that we can draw from, plus the expertise of the U.S. government. They've been actively engaged in providing prosecutorial support, international criminal investigative training assistance, program support. So all of the mechanisms are there. We just got to get the office stood up to coordinate all of these things.
All right, I will ask one more question, then we'll move to
Sure.
Steve. So the elephant in the room, I consider the funding. That is the most important thing because these things cost a lot of money. So how would it could be funded, and what financial resources are necessary for the establishment on the ongoing operation?
Well, keep in mind, there was HR 1055, a resolution passed by the U.S. Congress supporting this. So it's there. And the same people that supported it then are supporting it there. We've met with the people on the Senate side, Senate Foreign Relations Committee. They have supported this. And also of equal importance is the State Department. Okay. So you've got all of the requisite organizations that, from the U.S. Congress, which is where all the funding comes from. Keep in mind, when you have the U.S. Congress telling you that they're going to fund this, they'll fund it. They provide a lot of funding to other courts, like Bosnia, for example. They provide over $35 million a year to support prosecutions in Bosnia from the ICTY days, the International Criminal Tribunal, former Yugoslavia. Some of those cases were sent back, and they've continued to support that. So the funding is not going to be an issue. And that was confirmed last week when Ambassador Beth Van Schack was here. She made a commitment. And when we make a commitment, we mean it. We just got to get going on this, though. Until we get this office established and put together a budget, those are all the things that we need to do. Find out exactly how much we need. We've got a baseline, but I can assure you that the support that we've got back in Washington, and that's one of the things that I'll continue to be involved in to help support the funding on this, because this is something that I've testified before Congress several times about this. I testified on 21 June of 2021 at the Tom Lantos Human Rights Commission, and it was about establishing the court. And we had bipartisan support, and these people were still in Congress about supporting financially this court. And that's where the money starts. In the House of Representatives, that's where the purse strings are. So rest assured, we'll have funding for this.
Thank you, Steve. And maybe you can go to Monk for
Monk, quickly. Monk, do you have a question or two for Dr. White?
Yeah, I do have a question for Dr. White, because it seems like there is a pushback from our Senate because the resolution has passed the lower house already. And he keep mentioning this issue about executive order. If there was a constitutional blockade, that is, if the upper house was to reject the resolution from the lower house, can an executive order override the blockade from the lawmakers in the case of a war crimes court? I mean, what would be their next step?
Well, look, I'm not a Liberian legal expert, but from the experts that I've talked to that know this issue, this is a resolution that was submitted by the House. They're just asking for, it's not a law, okay? And so they can either accept it or not. They should, because the will of the people, the Liberian people want this. I think you're hearing this on social media. And it doesn't preclude the president from signing an executive order. An executive order is just that. It's signed by the executive branch. And as the chief executive of the executive branch, he can sign executive orders that are legally authorized, unless they're in violation of Liberian law. He can certainly sign this. And this has been examined before this was even brought up. So it doesn't require a statute to be passed for him to do this, to establish this office, because that would be on the executive branch side, and a coordinating clearinghouse to get this thing stood up, find out what the needs are, funding, all those types of things. So the answer is whether the Senate should do this, in my opinion, because I'm hearing from the Liberian people, they want this. And I think you guys are hearing it more than me, right? That they want this. This is the will of the people. So why wouldn't you want to do it? And many of these people just got elected, and they claim to support their constituents, and their constituents are now telling them that in order for this country to move on and restore the rule of law, we need to have this Foreign Economic Crime Court, okay? To stop the impunity, and also to seek restorative justice and retributive justice. And that needs to be done. Just like Sierra Leone, if you've been over there, even though they've had some issues of late, right after the court, after we started finishing our work, the people got to see what accountability looked like, and they liked it. And they wanted their elected leaders to abide by that. The country has developed. Keep in mind, 20 years ago, they were in last place, if you will, 192 out of 192. Now you can look at the development over there now that's occurred because the rule of law kicked in, foreign direct investment came in, the country was safe and secure. There's some issues there now, I get that, but we can't always control individuals. But the process and what the people saw served them well, and they were able to move forward. And I'm sure that that's what the Liberian people want. And they've got a model right next door, a good roadmap to see what things could be like if they just did it.
So, Dr. White, in the same context, just before we come to a close here, because I know
Sure.
this was allocated for about 30 minutes. But
Mhm.
in the same context, there has been lots of fear-mongering. For example, Prince Johnson, which is not the target here, obviously, right? But most recently, he's exerted that, he has men in Nimbas and he feels like he's been targeted and so forth. What say you about the security concerns of Liberians?
Well, here's what I will say, and I've been saying this for 20 years. This court is not about any one individual, okay? It's not. And if somebody tries to make it about them, then I think that's problematic, because this is about following the evidence, wherever the evidence takes you. And it's not about pre-selecting or prejudging anybody. That's why this has to be stood up under international law, because a good prosecutor will not be influenced by those types of things. They will follow, just like we did in Sierra Leone, we followed the evidence where it led us. And then those who bear the greatest responsibility, not everybody, those who, the cockatoos, as we call them in Liberia, those who bear the greatest responsibility will be the one. And look, we heard the same issue, that's why I brought it up earlier, about Chief Hinga Norman, and that the country would be turned upside down. But what I can tell you, and we made no mention of him at all, during our campaign. We never brought it up. We had the same issues, and our response was always the same. We're going to follow the evidence wherever it leads us, and wherever that takes us, it takes us. And so I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to make this about them, and perhaps maybe want to scare people from moving forward with this. But my adage that I used early on, and it stood the test of time: the rule of law is more powerful than the barrel of a gun. And we proved that in Sierra Leone, and look at what's happened over there. And I submit to you the same thing will happen in Liberia, and let the evidence go where it takes them. That's all.
So another quick question here to squeeze this in. So Dr. White, how, based on your experience, should executive order be issued? How long would this court take, the entire process? And also, another part of this question also would be, given the circumstances in Liberia, some Liberians are arguing that, okay, we want this, but we want it to be on ground here. What are some of the benefits or the incentives of having the war crime court established in Liberia as opposed to out of Liberia?
Well, let me just answer that your last question first. It has to be in Liberia. Okay, the people of Liberia have to see justice. What we did in Sierra Leone, we had the trial chambers, the main court, actually in Freetown, and we had up to 200 people a day that could come by on the lottery system and actually witness the trials. Okay, so that was good. And the rest of them, and technology, as you guys know, you're living proof of it right now. You can carry these stories live out into the hinterland in the 15 counties. So the people in Liberia can witness the trials. If they can't come to Monrovia to witness it, they can witness it from afar, just like we're doing right now. They can watch it, they can hear it, they can see it, and they get to see transparency. Okay, what does the rule of law look like? Okay, and so they'll get to see that. And that's going to be the beauty of it. So these other issues that we've heard out of country, those types of things, they're just they're non-starters, because the people of Liberia, which this tribunal will be about, they need to see it. And they need to see it, they need to taste it, they need to experience what justice looks like. And most importantly, so that the country can heal. Okay. And they see that, and they understand that not everybody's going to get prosecuted, but those that bear the greatest responsibility for those wars are held accountable, whoever they are. And it's not about one individual. Okay. There's a lot of people that were involved in this. You all know that. Okay. And let the prosecutor decide who that is. And if they use the same jurisdiction that we did, those who bear the greatest responsibility, that will narrow down the field of those who were most consequential in the war, the civil wars.
Thank you. Sekou, do you have a question or two?
I got a question.
I do. But before I ask the question, I want to also ask Dr. White to how much more time do we have with you? Because I have 3 different questions, and they are very, very key to this conversation, because Liberian people are listening. I can tell you, everybody in Liberia listening right now. We are on the radio in the 15 countries.
Okay.
And we are also on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on pretty much all the social media platforms. So this is an opportunity to ask you the relevant questions, lingering questions that people are, losing sleep over. Especially, let me know first if you have a little bit of.
You know what? This is so important for Liberia. I do have some other things, but this is so important for the Liberian people. That's why I made time today. Okay, virtually no notice. I wanted to do it because I love the Liberian people, and I was just there. I went back and forth. I was there multiple times before the inauguration, during the inauguration, after the inauguration. I came back, and
So you've been in Liberia 3 times already?
Yep.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you, giving us a little more time. First question: What steps that need to be taken to ensure the independence and impartiality of the court? First question. Second question: What mechanisms going to be put in place that will protect the witness and victim, given the risk involved?
Okay.
And the third question: the jurisdiction of the court. How is it going to be defined? What are the criteria to determine which case now fall under its purview?
Well, the court, as I mentioned to you earlier, it'll be set up internationally. And when you have a prosecutor that is appointed by the Secretary General in consultation with the president, chances are that person is not going to be from Liberia. Okay, so that's how it's going to be set up under international law, and you'll have an independent prosecutor that will determine what the criteria will be for those who bear the greatest responsibility. Fortunately for that prosecutor, whoever that may be, there's already been jurisprudence from the special court what that looks like. Okay, so when we started in Sierra Leone, we were the first international hybrid court. So there was a lot of uncharted territory. So now there's jurisprudence. So the people of Liberia should know that this will be done properly. And that's why this executive order must be signed to start coordinating this effective immediately. And simultaneously, that letter going off to the Secretary General, getting the UN involved under that umbrella will give the international status that this court needs. Okay. And the jurisdiction most likely will start with 24 December 1989 and could go up to the present. Okay. Because it just depends. That's the way it was for the special court Sierra Leone. It was tied to a peace agreement, but we all know that the first major civil war started 24 December 1989, right? That's when it was launched. So if we go up to the present, currently there aren't war crimes necessarily going on, but there are some things that are going on. So that gives you the jurisdiction from them all the way to the end. And the economic crime court will have to be determined because there aren't necessarily international laws. So that'll have to be codified probably under domestic law. But those aren't crimes that render the death penalty. But those types of crimes will be investigated by independent prosecutors that know the law. And the law in Liberia is very similar to common law worldwide. Okay, so that's why having an independently appointed prosecutor by the Secretary General in consultation with the President of Liberia, and quite frankly, this would be one of the best things for President Boykai, because once it starts, his hands are off. He will have no say, nor should he, because he'll be accused of things. If you could imagine, it doesn't matter who the president is. If he was directly involved, he or she would be accused of influencing and making this a witch hunt, and it's not. So if it's done by an international prosecutor, once that appointment is made, just like us, they had no say as to what happened. The court was on its own. That's why it needs to be set up under international law and international standards, which will be codified in statute with Liberia. And so once that's done, then the court can start its work. The funding can come in, all of these things. But if we don't have the executive order and the letter signed to Secretary General, none of this is going to happen. Okay. So that's why it's critical that it be done and be done immediately for the people of Liberia. And I'm hearing it just as you are. Okay. The people of Liberia want this. And also, to your most important question, one of the best things that came out of the special court for Sierra Leone was the legacy program. And that's what this court should do too. And what I mean by that is training and developing capacity within Liberia. I can see Liberians being brought into this court as it moves along, just like we did in Sierra Leone. I can tell you there's 2 witness protection programs. There was one set up by the registrar, and there was one set up by me. And even though the statute didn't call for it, coming from my background as a U.S. federal law enforcement officer who's worked around the world, I know how serious witness protection, witness management is. If you can't protect the witness who's going to testify for you, then your case can be very problematic, needless to say. I had over 600 witnesses, and not one of them was killed or seriously hurt. And what I did is I had an international staff in the beginning set up the witness management program, and then we infused it person by person from the Sierra Leone National Police, and we trained them. So we ended up having about 25 Sierra Leone police officers that we brought into the fold. We trained them, and they did an outstanding job in protecting the witnesses. And most of them stayed in country. We only had a handful, think about it, in a country that just came out of conflict. We had three warring factions. It was still red hot in the country, and nobody was hurt. So if we can do it there, we can darn sure do it in Liberia. We know how to do it. We can do it. We got the experience to do it. And rest assured, the Liberian people can be protected by professional witness management, witness protection personnel. And we've done it before. And our record still stands after 20 years. And
so just a follow up.
Sure.
So if necessary, should the United States be ready to assist with security in the country, if necessary?
They made that commitment last week. If you read Beth Van Schack's public statement, she said, we'll help with funding, we'll help with security, and we'll help with technical expertise. Okay.
That was my last question. Thank you so much, Dr. White. We'll go
I
back
have a
to
question.
Steve.
I have the last question just before we go to the radio.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Dr. White, I got a question for you, because a guy like Prince Johnson, for example, he's always in the habit of making reference to amnesty laws, and he always quoting the Comprehensive Accra Peace Accord. Are there any provision that you are aware of that amnesty gave any pass to Prince Johnson about facing war crimes? Are you aware of?
No, and I tell you what, I've even asked Counselor Jerome Vadir, who's the chairman of the TRC, if there was any such law, because we'd heard about it. We'd heard that there was one that was signed by President Taylor or President Moses Blah right before he left. That didn't exist. And then the comprehensive, keep in mind the CPA created the TRC, and it also recommended in the TRC or in the Comprehensive Peace Agreement that whatever the TRC recommended should be enacted into law. Okay, so the War Crimes Court was recommended. So there was no, to my knowledge, there has been no amnesty. And keep in mind what I said early on. It really doesn't matter, because if this is pursued under international law, no one is immune from prosecution under international law. And we've already litigated that, and we have international jurisprudence that's already addressed this issue by a former head of state. So it's a non-issue. So please, I know this comes up, and this isn't about any one individual, but that's why this court needs to be set up under international standards, exactly like what we did in Sierra Leone. And we can use the rules of procedure. We can use all of those things that's already been tried and tested and tweak them to meet the needs. And let me answer one other question that you asked about. This court should not take 6 or 7 years. There were some issues that I think we can tighten up here with the rules of procedure. And you never want to say that something should be done in a specific time. But I think if this is why this office of War and Economic Crime Court is so important and vital that we stand it up right now, is that we start working on the rules of procedure that will be very tight in motions when they're responded to, and making sure that the judges follow these, which we didn't have in Sierra Leone. And we have ample trial chambers stood up. So when these cases come, they're adequately staffed and they can be adequately dealt with. So that way, justice is delivered expeditiously, transparently, effectively, and quickly for the Liberian people. Okay, this should not be a protracted process. I can't give you a time, but I can tell you it will be sooner than later.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. White.
So Steve, something happened. I want to say, Dr. White, I want to say thank you. But while we were about to let you go, we received a call from one of the key players in Liberia, Representative Yeke Koluba. He said he wants to say something to you publicly. Sure. Should we take the call?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Honorable Koluba, you are live on SKTV. Dr. White is listening.
So, Sekou, I just got back to the country. I went for some seminar in Ghana. I just got back. So I want to appreciate Dr. White for everything that he's been doing to ensure that we have the war and economic crime code in this country. And I will keep in touch with him as usual. I want to appreciate him for keeping in touch, always touching base, for also compare notes. Just monitor him on the radio. I just thought to say that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Dr. White, any response to that?
No, I appreciate, as you know, I'm in touch with a lot of people over there and people that support this and want justice. And I find allies everywhere over there. And the Honorable Yeka Kaluba, he's been one of those that has been supportive of it for a long time. And he's also one of those that let the chips fall where they may. And he himself was a victim. There were a number of people. And let me just address this since he called in. One of the things that we did in Sierra Leone that I would encourage, and hopefully this will happen with this court, and I'll just leave it at that. There were in Sierra Leone, there were a number of child soldiers, okay? And we made a decision that anybody under the age of 18 would not be prosecuted. And the reason why we felt that is because you're an adult when you're 18. So you were a victim enough if you were forced into being a child soldier. So we thought that was bad enough, even though a lot of them did some bad things. But at the end of the day, when you're 17 years old and somebody puts a gun in your hands and tells you to kill somebody or kill your parents or do anything, it was unfortunate and it happened. And we know it happened in Liberia. So I think that that's something that that we would certainly encourage, that as this court moves forward, that people know, as the president said, it's not going to be a witch hunt. And it's certainly not going to go after people that were victims like that. Certainly, I hope so, because we made that decision early on, and it served Sierra Leone very well. And I hope that that would be taken into consideration as far as this is concerned too, because there were many people that they themselves were a victim at 17 and of course they turned 18 when they were in the Civil War. I get that, but I'm just saying these are some things. It's complex, but we've had some case law that support what I'm suggesting to you right now. But look, hey, this won't be the last time. Thank you. I know this is red hot, and it should be, because this is for the people of Liberia. Okay, it's not about me. It's not about any one individual. It's about you and Liberia, and they deserve this. They want it, and now's the time. He needs to sign that executive order, get this going, send a letter to the Secretary General. He told me he wanted it. You heard him say he wanted it. And I know he's a man of his word. So now he's just got to do what he needs to do. And let's get it done for Liberia.
All right. Thank you, Dr. White.
Thank you so much. We
thanks
really,
for your
really appreciate you. And then let me say this before. I really appreciate it. And then that was going to be my appeal, that this should not be the last time. And you said it yourself. So hopefully we'll have you again down the line as we move, on with this war and economic crimes code issue. But we appreciate you.
Hey, good luck and God bless Liberia. And thank all of you for what you're doing. This is a great service. And look, we can do this once the trials start. The people can see this for themselves, just like they're seeing this. If you like this is what justice is going to look like. You're going to get to see this type of platform that you can carry out so that people get to see it for themselves. And hopefully you guys will be a part of that process.
We will.
Thank you, Dr. White. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, have a great day. Take care.
Bye for now.
All right. Thank you so much. Wow.
Well, folks, that was Dr. Alan White, our guest for today. As we said, we'll have a surprise guest. Monk, Mr. Kane, what is your reaction to some of the things you heard? I mean, some of these things we've spoken about in public, but affirming and confirming some of these things, what would be your reaction, Mr. Kane? What is your take overall? First of all,
I will listen to Monk because we asked a lot of questions. Monk just asked one question. So I will listen to Monk's reaction to
I asked that question for a reason, because when you listen to Prince Johnson speaking, he speaks as if to say he's exempted for any prosecution when it comes to war crimes.
Right.
He will always cite that Accra Comprehensive Accord and pretend if to say there were provision in amnesty law that granted him a free pass from facing war crime. That's why I wanted to add Dr. Allen, and he made that explicitly clear for the average person to understand. So I think we are good. And he keep making mention of the president executive order. The thing about executive order is very limited. I mean, when you're talking about war crimes and the Constitution, you are looking at mostly Congress. I keep telling people the president is an individual. So when the president passes something, in as much as he might be the most powerful president, there are limitations. Article 2 powers, like the executive power. So when he keep talking about we're waiting, Dr. Allen keeps saying we are waiting for the how the court says the executive order for the president. In the case of a war crime, the executive order cannot override. So I'm looking at those guys from the upper house because it seems like that's where the opposition will be coming from when it comes to a war crimes code, in as much as we have a resolution from the lower house. That was my two primary concerns, and he addressed them adequately. So I'm good. I was good on those two responses.
Thank you. So, Steve, a lot of things. I took notes. Yeah, I took notes.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Yeah, one of the most important part in this conversation, when you ask him about the document, about the video circulating in the social media, whether that video was authentic, he said 100%. That's one. Number two, he said he been in Liberia before the inauguration, during the inauguration,
And after
the inauguration.
Right.
3 times.
That's another thing. Secondly, he said the United States is committed. He also said he as a person, he has testified before the United States Congress 3 times on Liberia issue.
Yep.
And he said, don't worry about the money. As long the Congress, United States Congress, as long they are in support and they approve of this, the money will come.
Yeah.
Sure.
Also, he said the reason why he continuously mentioning Joseph Nima Boakai executive order, he said that will empower the court, that will empower the United Nations Security Council to appoint prosecutor. That will elevate the whole process to the international standard.
Okay. That's it.
I don't know whether people, because I'm going to go into these things so that the average people can really understand exactly some of the things that we just listened to today. This might have been 1 hour or 45-minute conversation, but it's deeper than that. It's loaded than even a whole month conversation. Because there were a lot of breaking news. There were a lot of, revelations. Also, when we asked him whether or not the victims and the witnesses will be protected, he said, absolutely. He cited Sierra Leone as a case study. And he also informed us that if necessary, that's the reason why I asked that question. If necessary for the United States to provide security for people in Liberia, he said that question was answered by the United Nations government already, that they will. So there are a lot of meats on the bone, Steve, as we go through this conversation. And I think Liberians will learn a lot from this conversation. Not just what we just listened to, but if we continue to somehow detail the information we just got to explain to our people information that were provided to us, I think, and this guy is so into this. He understands what he's doing. He continuously, mentioning Liberians. Everything they do, say Liberians want it. Liberian people want this thing. So nobody can stop it. And he also says something, Steve. Maybe Mon didn't get out when Mon just mentioned that whether the executive order cannot override. He said the decision about a court that lies with the executive.
And that was my take.
He said whether or not, he said that it would be good if the Senate support the process.
Yes.
But even if they don't, the decision lies with Joseph Nyimabuaka. If Joseph Nyimabuaka signed, because Joseph Nyimabuaka is the one that represents the country. He's a spokesperson for Liberia to the international community, to the international world. So if Joseph Nyimabuaka signed that document, the one that will go into the United Nations and the one that will enable them to establish the process, that document will the one that will be able to empower the United Nations to appoint prosecutors and the structure of the code and everything that's supposed to be done. And they already agree with Joseph Nyimabuaka. All they're waiting for him, no hindrance, just send it here, send it to us so we can start the process as soon as possible. So Steve.
So what he was trying to say, go anyway, go ahead, so go complete your thought, because there was a reason I asked that question. The reason I asked that question about the power of the executive order in the case, citing the constitutional framework of Liberia and international laws, because you remember the communication Albert Chia sent to Nyongli Kanga saying that the constitution may likely not allow for the establishment of the War Crimes Court. So instead, they were going by recommendation made by the Truth and Reconciliation Committee. But what Dr. White is saying here, that in the case that now that Joseph Boakai, by account of him being the president through an executive order, he's saying that they was even empower the international criminal court system to come and be put into place. So in this case, in another words, he's saying Joseph Boakai executive order override anything that will come from the Senate.
And the reason for that, just a second, let me just add, and then maybe still correct both of us. Let me say this. The reason for that, Liberia is a signatory to the non-statute, the Geneva Convention. And in that document,
here in the Rome Statute.
Yeah, in both documents, it is the president who decides what will happen. And the reason why they are asking the president to sign that document, that will take it from the local level. Now, this will go beyond
our constitution
or Truth and Reconciliation Commission final report and recommendation. It will go beyond that because it will grant them the international standard. International standard, if they go by that, it means that the United Nations will be the one to approve this quote. That's what he said. When this happened, Joseph Nyimabuaka will not be accused of anything. All he needs to do is to give his blessing as the head of state of Liberia to say, you know what, the father, we are part of the Rome Statute. Liberia is in agreement for the United Nations, supported by the United States, to establish war and economic crimes code for our country. Once you do that, Joseph Boakai got nothing to do inside again. It's now the United Nations that will appoint the prosecutor and formulate the structure of the court and the operation. And the money will come out from the United Nations and America and other power.
So, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
No, more. Say what you want to say, and then I'll say.
Since we've been talking about the war and economic crimes code, as dating back as far as the days of the war or immediate after the war. So what I'm gathering from Dr. White here is this will be the first time that there was an executive order added to the mandate to make sure that the code were established. I mean, most of the time we talk about war crimes and war crimes, but there was never a time, whether it's from George Weah or Madam Salif, that an executive order was actually put out there to strengthen the code or to force or implementation of the code order. So, I mean, the old man is up to something. I must give him credit for this with the whole issue of executive order here. I think he's playing hardball here with the executive order.
So, Morgan,
I agree.
Morgan and Sekou, let me agree with both of you, but let me ask something.
Yeah.
Let me add something to it. Let me agree with both of you. You remember where, from a strategic, deliberate, delaying, confusing point, President George Weah refused to affix his signature. He kicked it back to the legislature. The reason for that is he knew that he had the power to sign off on it. But, you're listening to this, because of political pressure, because of the lack of political will, President George Weah decided that he would kick it back to the legislature. If you can recall, Tiawan Gonglo said something with T-Mas. He had an interview. He said, the legislature does not get to determine this. The fact that we signed on to the room, the room convention,
the room statute in the Geneva Convention.
Statute in the Geneva Convention, the fact that we signed on to both, that means automatically we don't need a concurrence of both houses to move on with this particular process. If you listen for the executive, the president, which is the spokesperson of the country, once he signs that letter, let me say this. If you can recall on SKTV, we told you there are two communications Joseph Yuma Bwaga need to sign.
Yep.
All that thing where you see in the house and passing around that just formality. It don't mean nothing. You know who holding the World Economic Crime Court? That's Joseph Bwaga.
Yep.
Yeah, today. Joseph Bwaga signs it today. It's a wrap. Forget about the thing what normally they're doing. Forget about the thing what Delon is doing. Today they're sucking up to Prince Johnson. Forget about all of that. If they sign it today, if Joseph Bwaga sign that paper today or tomorrow, it's a done deal. We move. That's all. That is a major reason. There's the hold up here. So Joseph Bwaga is the hold on. And he gave him work already. Let me say this to Joseph Bwaga before we get to John Molu issue, because there are other conversations we got to tap into.
No. Before we get to John Molu issue, Steve, I want us to open the line in Liberia.
Yeah, but the president who has supported, let me say hello to him now. The president who has supported, you're not supporting Pape. Me, I supported Pape. Let me talk to my Pape. I'm a deacon.
Who Pape?
Joseph Bwaga.
My man, hold on 1 second.
Let me just say that message to the deacon.
Okay. Say a message to the deacon. Then I will say what I want to say.
Well, let me say this to our president, Joseph Yuma Bwaga. You see, you can fail all throughout your life as human, but there is one thing you can do in life that can make people to remember you. You don't have to be successful in everything you do in life. You don't have to do everything right in life. But when you have that opportunity, that moment to do one thing that will leave a mark and a legacy, do it. You see, George Weah, all the local noise we make about George Weah not being competent, being inert, or whatever it is, from the day George Weah called Joseph Bwaga and conceded, it took a different face of him.
Yeah.
I applaud him for that. So I'm saying to our President Joseph Yuma Bwaga, you have the perfect opportunity to fix what was wrong, what happened, what we the indigenous people did to ourselves. You are an indigenous man. Do what is right. Be part of history. When you die today or tomorrow, let your name be there and say, Joseph Bwaga is the only president that did this thing. Every other president doing it, kick it down the road. But he did what was right. Do what is right. That's my only recommendation to the deacon. Sign those papers.
Yes, so before we take calls in Liberia, maybe I hope we got the. Do you have the?
I hope you not say that.
You have the system. Your system now. We say have a bad system.
We have tried and
Labrador,
We're gonna
really
try.
mad at you if they came you call in to
Yeah, seriously, but we're gonna try and see. But howbeit, we are still upgrading. There are a lot of massive work
okay,
ongoing.
okay. So before we do that, because we're not going to
But
hear
we'll
the
try
people
and
there.
see. But we'll try
Okay,
and
hold
see.
on. Just hold on. Let me say this. Just get ready to take calls. Let me say this. You know, we as SKTV, I want to take this time to say a big thank you to our team members for organizing this interview with Dr. Allen White. At this point, at this level, at this stage of our history, at this critical junction of our history, this is one of the momentous period of our existence. To have Dr. White on our set today, I say kudos to SKTV team. Steve and everybody else, I want to say thank you to Monk, to Maybon, and a big thank you to you guys in Five for keeping this thing tight-lipped, for keeping it secret to say, you know what, we have a surprise, guys. Yeah, I thought it was going to leak. Somebody was going to say it, because yesterday people were kind of guessing who's going to be, the guest. Some people say Joe Weah, some people say, Costa, different people. And guess what, my Liberian people, SKTV fan, you're listening. We'll have another person here that will shock you as well on SKTV. Yeah. But, kudos to our fans, our supporters, and more importantly, those of you who can share our platform. You don't know who's watching. You don't know who's watching. You don't know. Before the show today, I received a call. Somebody telling me that, are you guys getting ready for the show? I said, yeah. I said, what happened? They said there will be people from the U.S. Congress that will be listening and watching your show today because of Allen White going to be there.
Yep.
Allen White is a former government official of the United States on the highest level. Allen White is one of those people that the United States depends on when it comes to their activities outside of America. We got a lot of law firms here, man. We got a lot of people, different organizations here. Not everybody can just go to Congress. The United States can't trust everybody to do things. Also, let me make this very clear to you. Whether our interview with Allen White, Dr. Allen White or not, SKTV, we can safely say this with no regret, that we are respected, even by those that don't like us. And the reason is very simple. We remain true to what we believe. We hold everybody accountable regardless of your position. We held Joe Weah government accountable throughout. And we will hold Joseph Nima government accountable throughout. If they do the right thing, we'll say we appreciate them. And if they do the wrong thing, we'll call them out. And that's exactly what we do. So those of you, the reason why I'm saying this, Steve knows exactly what I'm saying this. There are people who are actually working hard and harder just to discredit us, simply because we disagree with them, simply because we are exposing the ills in the society, not because we're doing anything wrong to them. But the reason is simply because why SKTV must be the one to expose all the ills in the society. And not everything you can say, something there, you can just leave it like that, something there in our country, you will not be talking. No, it doesn't work like that. We're not doing anything wrong. And we have told you, people, whether it's from national security standpoint, whether it's from corruption standpoint, whether it's for drug dealing standpoint, people outside Liberian government, outside of Liberian society, people call us to collaborate information. We have said this to you over and over and over. We don't believe it. That's why we don't just come here and lie and fabricate story just to get view or bad view just for you to think that we get 10,000 followers. We don't care about that. We only care about the facts and to see a better Liberia. So kudos to all of you, Steve, Monk, Mayborn, and the entire team of SKTV for pulling this off. This was a great interview, and you have set another record. We appreciate it. So, Mayborn, I just wanted to say this because there's time for everything. Certain things need to be said at the right time.
Yes, indeed.
And I
So
think
thanks to
I'm supposed to do this.
thank you all of you, and thank for the brilliant questions. And I've been receiving a couple of text messages, calls, and so forth back to back about Dr. Allen White. So that was a great interview. So let me join you also and say thanks to our great team, Regina Monk, Cyrus, and the rest of the team out there. Also, thank to all of you. So indeed, let me go to the lines, and because there are a lot of Liberians who also maybe just want to chip in with their own observation on the interview or what they have to say. So let me go to the line, pick my first caller. To this caller, good evening. Yeah, my brother, we are great. Thank God. Your name and from where you join us?
Yeah.
Are you getting us?
Nope. Oh my God. They want to upgrade. You're doing what you're not correct. Maybe is there anything you can do? Maybe bringing the phone closer or something to the microphone or whatever you can do. Anything? But we're not hearing anything.
All right. I don't know, but sorry. I think yes. That's just it. I think maybe you can take call from outside because the system here actually is still on massive upgrading.
Yeah, Mr.
Maybe
Kennedy,
you get us.
All right.
we can take
All
few
right.
calls.
All right. Let's start taking calls from here. I got some calls already here, but I didn't want to just interrupt.
Yeah, but Mr. Kennedy, I beg you, can we take maybe 5 calls? Like into the John Molo issue before we get off the radio because it's important.
Okay. Yeah, but we still have about 30 minutes. So you know what? Let's just take 5 calls from here and then issue. So let's take the first caller here. Space 12 number. Last 4 DJ 8. Hold on, I'm hearing myself. You gotta mute yourself, somebody.
Yeah, this is Uncle Pete, the man from all the county.
Uncle P, the man from all the county. Welcome to SKTV, sir.
TV star. Let me say this. On the line of dissemination of information in Liberia and to Liberians, you guys have broken record today. You guys will go into history for the dissemination of information that was disseminated to the Liberians today when your brought Allen White out on your guest. You all got a star and you all will go in history. I say congratulations to the team.
Thank you.
This is very good for Liberia. The war crime code and economic crime code is very vital for our country. This is the only way we retrieve our economy. Our economy is being drained now. This is the only way things will be settled in our country. People who are connected or prosecuted in Liberia, they will bear the consequences. So I appreciate what you guys did. And all Nigerians must welcome the war economic crime code in Liberia. Those who are objecting to it, they are all participants. We will not allow people to commit crimes in Liberia and go in impunity. So I want to thank you guys, and I say hats off to you all. And in our studio today, I will follow your feet. Second and Baseball.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Uncle Pete. Thank you so much.
You guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So let's take a next caller here. Call out into the Brookable Power. Brookable Power, are you there? Brookable Power, are you there? Yeah, yeah, go ahead quickly. Just 30 seconds, man. We don't want to.
You know, you are smart. I'm not an amnesty, but you may be asking question because you are smart. I hear you talking and know that you are smart guy. I'm not going to be asking question. You got smart up and you got smart questions too. So you ask the question anytime.
Thank you. Well, not everybody want to ask questions. They may just want to provide analysis and stuff. So hold on, y'all hold the line. When I pick up your call, just hold the line until I call your last 4 digit. So last 4 digit here is 4658. What is your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Fargo, North Dakota. This is Teddy Lion Yako.
Go ahead, Teddy.
Yes, I want to know that Alan West said that the code was based on international standards. Whatsoever place the evidence will go. I want to know whether the United States government will be committed in the investigation if she's culpable of the Liberia Civil War, because Chancellor broke from jail. How she can better explain that? And Prince Johnson make a phone call the time he arrested Samuel Doe, whether the United States will be committed to that.
Yeah, so if you listen now, so if you're going to be one of the if you're going to be one of the witnesses, when you go there, you can raise that concern to the court will take into account. So let's take another caller here. So last 4 digit here is 1843. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Kennedy Corey, calling from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Go ahead, my brother.
First of all, I must commend our most reliable station, SKTV.
Thank you.
We are here to stay. But I want to say this to the Liberian people. Any true Liberian who wants to see Liberia prosper, this is the new Liberia we're fighting for. It should embrace what we heard today about the World Economic Crime Code. What is killing our country is the corruption that our political leaders who are not sincere to our country, who continue to enslave the minds of our youth. The generation that's supposed to carry Liberia forward, deny them everything that they deserve. And if you can embrace this war economic crime code, so Liberia will have a new Liberia. Each and every one of us will rebuild our country and somewhere. This is the point that we're all fighting for us to go home and have a new Liberia. Each and every one of us who do ignore this war economic crime code. You guys continue to go work and to go fight.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's take the next caller here. We'll take just 2 more calls, or one or 2 more calls, and then we will actually go back to the platform and start to discuss the John Molu issue with the president. So, caller, what is your name and where are you calling from? 9717.
Hey, salam alaikum, my brother. This is Ishmael calling from Washington, D.C.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi. Ishmael, how you doing?
I'm very good. So here's my question. I'm more of a technician in these things. There are 2 things they're pursuing: war crimes, accountability for the war crimes, and accountability for the economic crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the war crimes happen in a specific protracted period. You could say roughly from 1989 to 2003. But the economic crimes continue to go on. We still see Liberia being ransacked and pilfered by members of the leading political class. The question is, how will you pursue those people? What are going to be the limits of pursuing those people who just even yesterday are even sanctioned by the U.S. government? Are we also going to pursue them? What are the
he said that
economic crimes?
He said that.
Mm-hmm.
He said for the war crime, that will start from December 24th, 1989 to the end of the war. And the economic aspect, the jurisdiction will come all the way up to today, up to present. So that means those who are involved in the economic crime, they will definitely be prosecuted. And that's one of the reasons why some people in the Senate, they're trying to drag their feet, because some of them are like Abachi, said, that's the reason why, because some of them are sanctioned. So they don't want to see the war crime court in Liberia, because they think all the stealing they've been doing on the Liberian people, they think they're going to come after them and they could go to jail, or maybe they could be stripped of what they took from Liberia.
So do you think they will push it? Will they?
According to what we know now, whether they push it or they don't push it, if Joseph Boakai signed that executive order, then definitely that will enable the United Nations to appoint a prosecutor, and the process will start.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Steve, let's go back to the set. Let's get the. Steve, are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Sorry, my phone was.
I'm not going to take any more calls. So yeah, so go ahead. Since you said you wanted to also.
Yes, Monk. I think you have the communication from John Molu.
Yes, I do.
I have it too. So yeah, so go ahead, Monk, and read it for the.
Yeah, then we're talking in simple English.
We're talking in simple English. Yeah, you the simple English guy. Let me just go through this quick. John Molu writes, corruption controls require solid and sustained action, not political grandstanding embellished in deceit and hypocrisy. The executive order established the executive order to establish an asset recovery task force from the very beginning is a mere posturing on the part of Joseph Newman Boakai intended to pump air in the space for the sole purpose of getting some crumbs from the international community to support his government. The same tactic applied by George Weah with Hilton D. It was meant to attract Brenton Woods, a Claremont, a prodigy of Seaforth, former MPFL rebel, refused visa multiple times by U.S. enlisted in the IAA's report for corruption at LACC, cannot be a messiah to recover stolen, scattered wealth, not only in Liberia, but America, Europe, Asia, and other parts of Africa. A coffee in GSC RIA report accused of multiple corruption at the FIU, a no messiah either. A Jackson with his hands seen in Bond County. Hold on, let me just get it's in my messenger. He said a Jackson with his hands seen in Bond County Development Fund cannot be a messiah in this fight. They don't have the integrity, education, exposure, and competence to lead this fight. You cannot set up a serious team for the mere purpose of meeting job satisfaction, lacking competent experience, education, exposure. And then he said, Joseph Boakai is working without work, which will yield the same result. What happened to the little funds recovered by Cephas and Arthur Johnson? Yes, Doe created a Bureau of Reaccusation, proposing it to identify the properties of former government officials that were executed after the 1980 coup. This bureau, along with Doe and his cronies, misappropriated money they collected and seized and divided property they purported to recover. Kuvamoma House and Nancy B. Doe House be among properties recovered. That gets a case in point looking at the historical aspect of the same asset recovery. So asset recovery never started a few years ago, dating back to Samuel Doe. Asset recovery is a gold mine that will live Liberia into 200 years of existence, a potential to give Liberia the coastal highway, the several other roads projects in Nightmare with legislated and pipe-borne water, etc. Asset recovery should not be merely restricted to we are 6 years. It should go far back to the very existence of the country. Like Doe Group, Cephas Arthur failed to show what financial benefit the government got from this asset. On a common issue that was impoverished, on a common issue that has impoverished Liberia for years, Joseph Boakai has chosen to walk the same walk as President George Weah, Madam Sally, Charles Taylor, and Samuel Doe. End of story.
Wow. So, to our people who are listening, our papa, our woman, John Molu, you all know John Molu. John Molu, that our own son, that our own brother. John Molu say Joseph Boakai not serious for the corruption issue. John Molu said the same thing George Weah then did, the same thing Doe then did, the same thing Ellen then did, and the same thing when it comes to corruption, Benin, President Joseph Boakai is doing. John Molu said the men who Joseph Boakai put there to be on the asset recovery thing, that's also corrupt men. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know both to be able to do the work. They need it in almost all the corruption business. And one of the other men there, he said, I think you're going to remember Serena Cephas. Serena Cephas, who they just mentioned a few times under George Weah government. Serena Cephas, who was the Solicitor General of Liberia, that the man that trained one of the other guys. So just imagine Serena Cephas picking. If Serena Cephas, he said that somebody who not correct, then he train somebody that the person they bring to can do asset recovery or to can take back all the Liberian people thing there. So my people, Joseph Boakai on the other 1 year will not support him inside because he not serious. He put a bunch of people there who get bad record. The other guy there, they deny visa. They do what John Molu say. John Molu say, if we want the asset recovery Benin to be serious, we might not just make it about George Weah then time. We might go back all the way. The Vamuma house, the other property then that Nancy do then get, how they get it, and the Liberian pool money they use to build a home. John Molu say, if Joseph Boakai really serious for you, he might bring serious people to do the work. Than now the people then who now steal. John Molu say, even now recently when George Weah was president, and George Weah, and you can remember George Weah talking about the same asset recovery Benin. The same people then who in brawl. One of them mean Arthur Johnson. I think you can see Arthur Johnson passing around in the town there. You can see Serena Cephas passing around. Serena Cephas get yellow card. He passing around. So all those men, they say those men are not serious, man. Those men, they're not serious. So John Molu is asking the president to please take the thing serious because of the Liberian poor money. And if the Liberian people want to enjoy electricity, if you want to enjoy clean water, running water in our country, if you want to enjoy facility and the Liberian poor benefit from the money that was stolen, then you need to bring serious people to take care of the job. The job and a serious job. So John Molu say, for now, Joseph Boakai doing the same thing that Doe did, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did, and George Weah did. John Molu say, Joseph Boakai is not serious man when it comes to fighting corruption. He not say Joseph Boakai corrupt. He said Joseph Boakai not serious to fight corruption because of the people he put there to do the asset recovery. So my people, that the news that were brought to you in simple English, all the BB book Mongo reading that is there.
So yes, I wanted to take you to the simple English man and the big
News in brief.
Yeah, the news in brief.
I want to say a bit, but you know what though? Steve is not fair. You know, we said the last time we wanted people to give news in simple English. Steve, the one was charged to bring people. Steve reached out to a few of our people. Then he reached out to my boy Moa, and also I don't know. I want to get her name. Sarah, what her name is? I forgot her name. One girl. Not knowing that Steve can even get better news in simple English.
I'm surprised.
You know
So,
you can do the
Steve,
thing, then you go be looking for different people that you can't do it for.
yeah, actually, man, Steve,
No, we
you
wanted
have
to give
a
people the
point.
You do the
opportunity.
professional one year, then when it's time for the simple English, you do that one too.
Yeah,
And then, but you that Steve, all the old folks can say that don't bump on the wing can talk, but now Steve now feeling make it to now they feeling happy.
yeah, Mr. Kenneth, we wanted to open it up to our people, but for Moa, the reason we not see Moa went to get married and he not make it.
Oh, that one more. That's why he kind of missing action.
Yeah, he not come on the show. And then the other girl we reached out to, she followed behind Joseph Boaka, and she said we can create that Boaka during the election, so she will not come on the show. She started making confusion. So I told her, I said, so I called one of my papa and my mom and they start teaching me simple English. So for the past year, I've been learning.
No, actually, man, you really go ahead. Actually,
you
really employ you for that.
good. So again, the John Molu issue. You know, sometimes I can come from the left side of everything sometimes. And the reason is very simple. The way people look at things sometimes I don't look at it like that. John Molu is talking because John Molu didn't get the job he wanted. Plain and simple. John Molu is talking because John Molu did not get the job he wanted. John Molu is aware that Joseph Nima Boakai was not the right person to fight corruption in Liberia. John Molu knew that. John Molu knew that Joseph Nima Boakai was not up to the task for the presidency. But John Molu, all of them supported Joseph Nima Boakai. They thought it was an opportunity for them to come back again and start to exploit Liberia. If John Molu was going to be appointed in the position, all the things he's saying now, you're not going to hear it. You're not going to hear it. If John Molu is serious, this should not be just one time. Let John Molu be the one in the vanguard of fighting corruption in Liberia. You should not just wait in the corner and wait for appointment. When you don't get it, and then you go and start to throw monkey wrench. No. Is the right thing to say? Well, I don't think he's the right candidate to say it right now. John Molu was one of the people perambulating the space everywhere with Joseph Nima Boakai. John Molu was part of people that went to Ghana when they were trying to set up the government. The reason why John Molu was pushed on the side is fight for control. The proximity of Nima Boakai. John Molu was pushed out of there by the people closer to Joseph Nima Boakai. And they also say that the whole idea of John Molu being the former Auditor General in Liberia, people say John Molu cannot get any other position, either be the finance minister or go back again to be the Auditor General, or let John Molu be the head of Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. And knowing that the people then they're going to come to steal the Liberian people money, they said no. If you've been a mayor to come take that position, they may will disgrace us. They may will stop us from, doing what we want to do. They may will be paying in our behind. They may will not give us a chance to steal. So that guy here, he in the right team, he in the wrong team. If they was serious, he would have been with different people then. We can't come in our team and one can control or you want to tell us what to do. They rejected John Molu for the fear of accountability. And John Molu should not be surprised. John Molu should not be surprised. John Molu knows exactly who Joseph Jima Boakai is. He knows. And John Molu also is aware of the fact that there were other alternatives besides Joseph Jima Boakai and George Weah. We had Alexander Cummings, we had Dr. Clarence Monuba, we had Tiawan Gonglo, we had Lusoni Kaba. We had a lot of different people. Sometimes it's good to stand with the fact. It's good to stand with the truth. It's good to stand with the right thing, even if you don't win. It speaks volume of your character. It speaks volume of who you are. It speaks volume of your honesty. But they were all in this bandwagon just to get what they can get for themselves. And the people don't trust him. They think he's going to be paying in their butt. That's the reason why they kick him out. So everything John Molu is saying now, if John Molu is going to get a position, I'm not sure you're going to do that. So calling it, calling Joseph Boakai action as a political grandstanding, just to want to get, a crop from this person and that person, let me tell you this. Should Liberia move forward, Steve and Mabel and Monk, it requires honesty, truthfulness, and true love for country. All the people that do all the political machination, all the nonsense going on, don't believe them. They're all fakers. They're all fakers. If things doesn't go their way, what they do, they become critics of that government. If they are brought in, then they are silent. They will be there to get their piece of the pie and care less about what happened to the rest of the Liberian people. So I think if John Molu want to be taken seriously, let him go beyond writing just one piece. Let him be that, icon for accountability, for justice, for transparency. Let the people see him as a fighter. Let me tell you something. When John Molu came to Liberian politics, when he was appointed, after he carried on that audit, John Molu was considered in Liberia as one of the best sons of Liberia. Well, guess what? John Molu's decision to support Joseph Jima Boakai and acting like he's surprised of what's going on right now does not pass a smell test. We are not stupid. I don't trust him. I don't trust any of them who think they could just use this. The thing is, it's fight for control. I've said this. All of them believe that they could use Joseph Jima Boakai as a stepping stone to exploit the country. And then now, the people who maneuvered their way, the strongest, they were the one that pushed the other people away. There's a reason why Prince doesn't keep complaining every day about, Sylvester Grisby. Because Prince doesn't feel like, okay, we are fighting for control of this old man here. But it looks like Sylvester won, that bid. Sylvester is the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. And what they don't know, the decision of Joseph Jima Boakai is by 3 people. And 3 people only. Every other people in local, they're not that important when it comes to decision making by Joseph Jima Boakai. Number 1, Joseph Jima Boakai. Joseph Boakai Jr. He's the one making the decision for his father because he knows the father is not well. Joseph Boakai nephew. Joseph Boakai nephew. The guy that is called J. Kabakoli. And third, that guy name what you call say he doesn't want the war crime thing. I mean, I'm hearing noise. I don't know from where. Is it from Melbourne, sir?
If I'm wrong.
Yourself from Melbourne, sir. So Steve and Melbourne and I think the noise coming from Mon's end.
No, it's not from my end. I think you're coming from Melbourne. I think something is grounding. It sounds like a grounding.
Yeah, so if you're not talking, just just mute yourself. So we're gonna have about maybe 10 minutes on the radio. My take on the John Molu thing, John Molu should do more than what he just did. Let him rebrand himself. Let's see different John Molu. Not the John Molu that supported Joseph Boakai, not the John Molu that believed in Joseph Boakai's judgment, not the John Molu that believed that Joseph Boakai is the right person for Liberia, that will make the right decision, he will appoint the right people to change our country. The John Molu that believed that. I don't want to see that John Molu writing any nonsense. Let's see a different John Molu. Then we'll trust him.
What?
That's my take.
Cyrus, what's your take before?
Well, my take here is a two-part. It's a two series to this whole John Molu or little piece here. John Molu is making the case that people they don't have the requisite experience, the education, enough international exposure to recover assets. I said in the show, asset recovery is one of the most difficult things that you can do. It requires a lot of stuff. You got to set up a code. You got to act in accordance to the law. But I'm kind of a little bit confused at the what John Molu actually saying here. Is he saying on one end that Joseph Boakai is not interested in asset recovery, or he just pretending, putting up a show? Or is he saying that just because people are not qualified, is he questioning the ability of the team, or he questioning the political will or the span of Joseph Boakai to actually recover assets? That's why I want him to clarify. If he was
very good concern. More to answer your question, John Molu is telling the world, because I am not the one on that team.
So it's not
because I am not the one leading that team. Because I am not the one making decision on that team is incompetent. Joseph Boakai is not serious. Joseph Boakai does not have the qualified people with requisite experience, knowledge, and the technical know-how. They are not there as long as John Molu is not there. So therefore, Joseph Boakai is joking. Joseph Boakai is not serious. All these things are done as a result of John Molu not being on the team. That's it.
So here's the thing. I will buy into the idea that he's not on the team. Maybe he could be doing it for his own selfish reason. But the thing here is, all the instances he's listing in that particular piece, they are the truth. So the question is then, what next? Because if you put pressure on Joseph Boakai, he's also capable of withdrawing. I mean, he's noted for withdrawing people anyway. People bring some competent folks on board. So what John Molu is actually saying, Joseph Boakai is only putting up a show, or he just saying that the team cannot get a job done. That's one thing here with the Molu.
So Mr. Kane and Melbourne, let me say this. And sometimes when we say some of these things, people think we hate certain people or so forth. There is no man or woman, for me, that certain things are not good. Certain people will not do what is right. You support them. You campaign for them. You convince the Liberian people for Joseph Boakai. Knowing that you knew what you said about Joseph Boakai and Ellen Johnson's government. Just the fact that John Molu, who is a man people claim to be a man of integrity, can even sit on Spoon platform. I don't take John Molu seriously. I don't take John Molu and any other person, whether you man or you woman, sitting on Spoon platform. I don't take you serious. You are not serious. You're not no moral person. Go sit down. Go find water you drink. Go sit down somewhere. You're not serious. Nobody should take you serious Because these basic things start from somewhere. It starts from somewhere. Let John Molu leave a friend. We don't care about what he has to say. He, John Molu, who is a well-respected man, or who should be a well-respected man, why subject yourself to certain things? You think John Molu never knew that Joseph Boakai is a crook? You think John Molu don't know that? He knows that. But all of them, this is the mentality that they have. Or the Labrador, what the Labrador wanted. What did you want? Or what do you want? As a human being, when you will make an independent decision, you know, sometimes I see our people, they think it's about winning and losing. It's not about winning and losing. Liberia's story can never be about winning and losing. It can never be about that. It should never be about that. It should be about us supporting, picking, and getting the best amongst us to move the country forward. You get John Molu passing around. And you were talking about Joseph Parker and I support Joseph Parker because I'm a man I feel I can win. Why you left your moral and your integrity? Let John Molu go find water and drink and relax. Let him rest about it. They think just starting. We don't even go nowhere. Why you get your heart on? Let him lead the puppet. We don't care if those men were indicted. And he voted Joseph Human Parker to bring people that were indicted. And he instead indicted Joseph Human Parker and led government, but he stayed around and supported them. Are you serious? So to the Liberian people, let me say it to y'all. If you want to do what is right, do what is right. If you don't want to do it right, leave it, especially when it comes to politics. You can't do one thing to people that hurt, offended the Liberian people. You bring the same people, but you support them. And you think overnight they will change? Why are you really thinking that Boakai will do? You really think Boakai would have changed? No, that's not how it works. Let's say who said there were options. Molu then decided to go with a popular way that what the Liberian people want. So guess what? That what the Liberian people want. Let Molu go sit down somewhere, plenty ready. It just started here, not bunny. You don't see nothing here. And it will not get you fine. You will not do, you can do nothing.
I know, right?
You can do nothing. Next time, you will not be selling your bellies and your guts to your friend man. You sell your moral and your integrity there to your friend man. So as a result, even when you speak about issues that are supposed to be serious, guess what happened? People don't take you serious because of the decisions that you're making in the moment. So
the radio, Steve, thank you for that.
No, just before I get off the radio, I had a question here from one of the listeners.
Okay.
I came on the show late when Dr. White was here. They talked about the statutory period, the time frame for the War and Economic Crimes Code. They were emphatic on the 1989 to 2003. Did Allen White mention anything concerning the Economic Crimes Code as to how far they will go behind and compared to the present dispensation?
Yes. Allen White said from December 24th, 1989 to present for the economic. And for the war, 1989 up to the end of the war.
2003, specifically. All right. I just want to clarify that. That's it.
All right. So, Melbourne, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. And I will be on here tomorrow again. Like we said, we will be. What am I trying to do here?
You trying to make me famous?
Yeah, I'm trying to make you famous. Exactly. So the many viewer and listener here, please follow the platform. You don't just come here today because of you got one breaking news, then you just go away. Click follow. And then if you want to be seeing our programs regularly, and also when you click follow on the far right, you click on favorite. Some phone will tell you, say, see first or favorite. Please do that. So that way, every time we come on, you will receive a notification that SKTV is on. Or anything we push on there, you'll be able to see it right away. We want to encourage all of you. And to those of you watching us on YouTube, please share with other people. A lot of people want to be seeing the show on their big screen. And today's show was one of the importance one of the important shows, that we have had, and more to come. If you
And tell them today is Sunday in Liberia. They need to check the SKTV offering basket. We are almost
okay, speaking of that, somebody, so while I saw that Aaron left, somebody sent us $55 just to tell us thank you. And that person said we have taken SKTV to another level. The person sent us $55 on Zelle. So I didn't want to actually talk about money in the middle of
the show. Yeah, that was a smart
very
move.
important conversation. I wanted to talk about it at the end of the show, like we are doing right now. But yes, Mon, you're right. The offering box is open.
I'm the kid on the show. Every time I remind him, just give me that duty. I would do it 3 times.
You have them. You can do it from the start. You can do it in the middle. You can do it in the end. At the end of the show, it's up to you, man. It anytime. You do it as you wish. Yeah. So let's take Saros, our man Saros from Liberia. Saros, what's going on?
Yes. So thank you for having me on the show, Mr. Kane. I hope to be on SKTV soon. And let me say thank you to our many listeners and followers. And let me say good evening to you, my boss Steve, and my big brother President Mong and Maybon, and the rest of SKTV crew. Mr. Kane, you see Liberia at a crossroad as we speak. And if Boyka, like Steve said, if Boyka, Joseph Boyka, the president, wants to be remembered for something, then he should now make the most critical decision by signing passing the executive order for the World Economic Crime Court to be established. Because, Mr. Cullen, if you depend on the guys from the upper house, most of the guys are intertwined with the economic aspect of this World Economic Crime Court, with the establishment of the court. You would never expect the guys who are intertwined with the economic aspect. Do you expect a Abachier to sign World Economic Crime Court? Do you expect a Nathaniel McGill, who was just in recent time, to sign World Economic Crime Court? I mean, like the big guys, even some of the guys who are left, the Vanish Sherman, the Eddie Snow, all the guys you name you here. Do you expect the guys to sign a World Economic Crime Court? The economic aspect of the court? People are not looking, most people are not looking at the economic aspect of this court, of the establishment of the whole World Economic Crime Court. They're only looking at the World Crime Court aspect. The guys will not sign it. So if the president wants to be remembered for something, then he should pass the executive order that it could be established, that will bring to Liberia and bringing perpetrator, to the book. That will be serving as a precedent. It will be serving as deterrent to other people that nobody want to come into public office and misappropriate or exploit the Liberian people, and impose poverty on them. So the president needs to look in that direction. And when it comes to the whole John Molu aspect, I can't see there are a lot of people in Liberia and say they're educated, but I don't know how education sometimes comes to it. Integrity. So I don't know how some of the guys lead their integrity because of government job. I think Molu wanted government job. Like you said, let me buttress you. If I would be taking John Molu serious like I used to take him serious before, then John Molu need to speak on several issues, not just the issue. Because for me, I would see it as a political get back because he did not get what he wanted, from this government. Like Steve said, Molu have several options to make in the just election. There are a lot of good people who are in the race. That can't, Mr. Cummings, I would say. You have Manasera Besler Yanti, you have that Clarence Monimba. You have other people there that you could pick. So it was not only Joseph Boyka. Sometimes the majority are not always right. And that's where one of the things the most educated people miss. And I don't think they miss it. It's just a pre-calculated something that Molu they all were doing. So if Molu will trust Ambassador Boyka because he said Liberian people and he didn't stand for anything and now he want to start standing up. It almost like most of the guys who, when they not get what they want in politics and they come back, they say they advocate. That have Molu behavior right now. So if Molu wants, he need to rebrand himself. He need to speak on several issues and let the Liberian people understand that, oh yeah, I've come above it now. I see it as a political gap. But yeah, most of these things he's saying is true, but I see it as a political get back. So we need to work harder to gain the trust of the Liberian people. So thank you for having me on SKTV. Let me say thank you to SK having Mr. White, Dr. White on the show, and SKTV is second to none. We will continue working.
You should be proud of yourself, man. Mr. Manager, Mr. SKTV Manager Liberia. You should be proud of yourself, man. Thank you so much.
It's an honor to you.
All right. So, speaking of saying all my people there, they are behind the camera. Let me make myself famous according to Steve. let me bring myself on the camera.
Right?
Yeah, me as a famous people.
Say all of you, you know how yourself. Let me be like a big boss Steve. Big boss Steve, President Joseph Boakai, little cousin or nephew. I don't know. He's a trusted nephew.
Yeah, trusted nephew from favorite.
Or he's the most credible nephew or most.
No, me a reliable nephew. Are reliable. They get dependable.
Okay, the most reliable nephew. Reliable. Yeah, send the most reliable nephew is behind the scene and Monk is behind the scene. All they want to show their faces. Let my face, me, my face is here. And let me say this to all of you. Yeah, since Monk talk about people, supporting SKTV, we received 2 donations. Somebody sent $20 on the Cash App, and then I saw another person sending $100 on Zelle. We want to appreciate you guys for supporting, for sending your support of SKTV. Yes, let me make sure. So other people will not think that I'm trying to ignore their support. Yep, that's it. Those are the 2 donations that we. Hold on one second. Yeah, earlier I talked about more. I talked about the $55 area, right? That was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one that came through.
Okay, yeah. So that one too was on sale. So we have 2 people on sale. One person $50, one person $100. Oh, okay. This person here being missing in action for some reason. This is one of the people that have been actually supporting us, and they never want us to call his name. Is a guy who have supported SKTV throughout, and he never wanted his name to be out there. He just believed in us, and he always appreciate us. He always telling us to keep doing what we do for Liberia. He's very committed to see a better Liberia. So it's a gentleman who did that, who did send $100. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. So again, SKTV, we are poised to keeping you posted on some of the key informations when it comes to this whole war in economic transport. If you record, Steve came on a few days ago and updated the Liberian people about what we were privileged to as SKTV. We comes to some of the meetings that has been going on behind the scene. We have a lot of information that we can share, but we will do our best to tell you things that you need to know. We are in no competition. We are in competition with nobody. We are in competition with ourselves. We want to do better today than we did yesterday. We want to do better tomorrow than we did today. We want to be noted, want to be recognized for being a platform for the Liberian people, regardless of how many people is watching us. And you can rest assured we'll do our best for Liberia. And we'll hold back no punches. when it comes to anyone who is corrupt, who is actually helping to destroy Liberia and the future of our children. We have been at the receiving end of the attack. I in person. As a matter of fact, anything that is posted on SKTV platform, because my picture is on it, some people think, almost all of them think I'm the one writing it, and I take responsibility. But no, that's not how it works. We have an institution. We have editors. We have reporters. We have people that post things. Sometimes I can be sleeping. SKTV can be live. I don't even know. In fact, sometimes some information can be on SKTV that Monk can tell me. Monk can tell me, oh yeah, it's already there. Sometimes, they will call me and tell me some things. But we have competent people. They're not perfect. Not that they can make mistakes. But we have people who are doing their job as an institution. And for the most part, on voluntary basis. Most of our people do things for us voluntarily. Even the young people in Liberia there, what we do for them is not enough. We send them transportation, put money on their phone for data, and sometimes if they need some personal help, we render it to them. If we had the means, we don't have it, we ask some of you to help us help our people. We have done that many times. But what they are doing, we can't get paid for them. Look at Monk. Monk can be in a hospital taking care of things. He will come on to provide, important analysis on issues. Steve can be working. He will go into different rooms just to participate on the show. For me, I can't even say it. So that you can see me, I can be so sleepy, I can be tired. Mabon will call me, she is down. Are you coming on? No show today. And some of you can even call me. Say, Seku, what's going on, my man? I don't see the link here. And some of our people, some of our sisters, they will call us. What happened to the show? If you won't come on for one day, the commitment to do a show every day, you'll go ask when I do show. And you're like committing to go to the gym, right? I know most of you have tried that. If you commit yourself to go to the gym every day, by the time you will know the commitment is crazy. By the time you will know. But yes, again, I want to say thank you to all of you. And a big thank you to SKTV family, to our entire team, both in the diaspora and in Liberia, to all of our sisters. As a matter of fact, somebody called me the other day, one of the followers, one of the main followers of SKTV, a female, pledging to support SKTV to take us to the next level. And this person is very, very, very informed. In their opinion, their contribution is critical to the upliftment of SKTV. We have received many calls like that. I want to take this time in this public manner. I'm not going to call her name to tell her thank you for calling to pledge her support to SKTV. Not financially. It could also, have some financial impact down the line, but the commitment alone. And the reason why she says she's supporting her, because she said she's been following different platforms. And she said the reason why she decided to choose SKTV over other platforms was because of our honesty, the integrity, our ability to speak truth to power. And she said everything we have said here, and she took it to other people, have come to pass. That we don't just provide any information We can provide critical information. Some can be very sensitive, but down the line, you will see it. So because of that, she decided to commit to make sure. She even asked me, what is the goal of SKTV? What you guys want to do actually? Like we have told you guys. We want to see SKTV covering the entire country on radio. We want to see SKTV down the line having our own TV station in Liberia, where Liberia people can get unfiltered information, having an integrity platform that will not support people based on money, that will not give you our support, that will not just come in and just give any kind of news just because we want to get something in return. No, we will not do that for anybody. You like us? Thank you. You don't like us? Thank you. We will always speak truth to power. We will always expose ills in the society. Sometimes, we may come across a little bit harsh. Like somebody told me yesterday, oh, SKTV is good, but your co-host says something that I don't like. The man always muffing the president. I say, thank you for your opinion. We respect it. Other person say, Seko, sometimes you guys doing a good job, but not everything you can say. I say, thank you. Your opinions are important to us, and we take them into consideration. We will not change the way we do things on SKTV when it comes to speaking truth to power, regardless of who the person is. So one time, Steve, among the other day, we actually criticized somebody here, and the person's sister being one of the main supporter of SKTV. And the sister reached out to me, oh, we appreciate you guys speaking truth to power. We appreciate everything you guys doing, but they were too small. I said, what happened? The person said, well, this time around, my brother was the one highlighted on SKTV, and not in a good way. I said, but the person said, but I understand. You guys, that's why we love you guys. You guys are doing your job, and I must appreciate you guys. And that person went into detail. It gave me more information about the brother, not in a negative way, and clarify some things to me in a very respectful manner as well. So that's how that's what it is. So Steve and Monk, I think we got to leave it there for today, unless you guys have something else.
Yeah, we can leave it there for today. Tomorrow will be on, like you said. Definitely, I'll be here. I'll be on. For those of you who can call and give your feedback, we appreciate it, as Sekou said. But let me tell you something today. We're not changing nothing on SKTV. If you're not like it, when you go after 2-3 days, when you make SKTV, you stay calm back. It's just like you made someone a male, you made someone a woman, you can't help it. Yeah, you are data the SKTV. Some of you can be fair, you can even be watching it from distance. You can make mistake and click, we can see you, then you go back. Watch it from distance. Click on it and count. We not get problem with you so long you watching it. That's the most important thing. You like SKTV. You let it to what we're saying. The only thing you don't like is because we call out your person or your people. Yeah. That's it. And let me tell you today. What are the Delon? What are the Yombli? What are the Joseph Boakau? What are Elizana Kumizo? What are Tiawan Gonglo? We will call any politician out, regardless of our relationship with you. In here today, regardless of our relationship with you, we'll call you out. It will not be personal. It's not personal. We will call you out on the issue. When we move on there, some of you are saying you are deleting, you are unfollowing, you are blocking, you are unfriending or whatever it is. It's not any problem. We're not getting problem with that one. It's not personal. They see where you unfriend or you will come back again and send friend requests. You will send it. Because we will not move from here. And the good thing about us is we stand with what is right, what is true, and integrity. That y'all can be running around. Like y'all running around. We're not running, and we here. So again, we are here, and more to come. We're working on one of your other politicians who knows are coming up. Yeah. You know, SKTV, we let her get it. We let her get a document in our hand before we talk. Because when we're talking, when we're talking and you go into the court, listen, and the good thing about SKTV, when you go into court, we'll not stop you. But after you finish suing, when we not prove you wrong, then we'll sue you too. You see it?
So Steve, speaking of documentation.
Yeah.
Speaking of documentation, before we go, Joseph Boakai government is doing something that is very good for them. They are documenting a lot of things that they saw. It will amuse you, Steve. Joseph Boakai starting on a very bad footing when it comes to controlling, what's going on. Controlling his government, appointment, all those things. Joseph Boakai started on a very bad note. And the infighting and all those things, and all those things happened because the way they get into power. They decided to bring everybody in, all kind of people, the devil, the angel, everybody. And that's the reason why he finding it difficult to stop. However, some of the things, Steve, that George Weah people then left. I'm not going to put everything on George Weah as a person, but that was his government. Some of the things, Steve, that those men then left behind. You're going to take, I don't know how long, but it's going to take a long time for Liberia to recover on the damages done.
Some of the damages done. That's why they were voted out.
People, I'm telling you the truth.
And there's a kind
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I love that warning from Steve. Irrespective of your political leader, whether you're from the CPP, you're from the CDC, you're from Unity Party, you cross the Liberian people part, SKTV will blow you up. That's it.
Yeah. So Steve, while you guys were talking, and I let to. Yeah. When you guys were talking, somebody sent $50, but you know what? I don't know if that was a mistake. The person sent $50 earlier, and the person sent another $50. I don't know the person. If that was done by mistake, let us know. We'll send you by.
Yeah, send you by before you
if you meant to actually send $50, just let us know. We'll send you by the other $50 because the same person.
Yeah,
and
no. We don't get refund policy here. We don't get refund.
No, people can make mistake at times.
If you make mistake, that means maybe you are happy for today.
Okay, let me ask you.
What?
Why the other time?
Yeah.
Somebody wanted to send us $50.
Yeah.
They mistakenly sent $5,000.
Yes.
And we return that money. So how can you say that? Because
who returned the money? So now we gotta investigate.
Okay. Because I returned the money. I didn't tell you.
We gotta investigate you. Why you say our money back? So you've been doing something behind, or you've been sending money back.
But I announced on the show. I said,
I was not on the show because I would have told you.
$5,000 to us.
No, Mr. Kennedy, there's something blessing.
And guess what? You know what the woman said? No. I was confused. I didn't know where the money go.
No, Mr. Kennedy, God can bless anybody, right?
Yeah, no, not God blessing, but I'm mistaken.
No, that God blessing. Listen now, let you see that it happened there, that the sticker issue there, that we're going to investigate you. We're not here for that. The problem with Mr. Kennedy is, first of all, we're supposed to secure the money. We're not recovering assets. We are securing assets and using it.
Yeah, somebody here, I don't say here. Somebody just
I was not on the show.
I said, somebody made mistake. I said, somebody just $5,000. I don't think that person meant to send that.
What is a mistake? Why should that be a mistake? Why are you infusing different things in the conversation? Why should that be a mistake? Why can't it be a blessing? Why can't
you not create a problem for me? That's what they said. They want to organize and bring your money back. Where are going to get the 5,000 from? But man,
no, but Mr. Kennedy, why couldn't it be a blessing? Because blessing they can different ways.
The blessing, that kind of blessing that somebody want to curse. The person is kind of confused. Sekou, I said, because when I said it, the person said, oh, I just hear them on the show there. When I check my account, I didn't know where the money goes.
That was a mistake of doing provoking back.
I said, how much you really meant to send to us? So the person said, I really wanted to send $50. But because of your honesty, I will send $100 now. You send me back for the 900. So
no, Mr. Kane, what we needed to do,
right away.
No, what we needed to do is to negotiate with that person. We get on payment plan to refund the money in the next 5 years. No, let me tell you something. If you get trigger, let's see, if you get trigger happy. Because you are mesmerized by the show. If you get trigger happy because you are mesmerized by the show and you are enthusiastic and the momentum is in you and you misappropriate digits, that's our problem. That's our problem. You understand?
So it was mesmerized by the show.
Yeah, you get trigger happy, you are mesmerized, and you are all excited, and you forget about yourself. No, Mr. Kane, because so people can be watching the show, they be caught in shot. When I get problem, we'll bring you on the liquor and we'll discuss how to refund you.
So this person here that said 50, anyway, let me go back to that person. Don't listen to Steve, don't mind Steve. The person that sent $50 twice, if you really meant to send $50, let us know. We'll send you the other $50.
Okay, sorry.
They don't want to hold me accountable, no problem. But I will send it back to the person. They say that they want to send. But if they said $100, then we say thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Folks, sorry. So Dan Sekou, so Dan Sekou can be very, very happy today that Sunday and they're starting the fast tomorrow. So he's very happy that was a mistake in our announcement. Thank you for sending the money twice. You are a good person, and that's what you need to do in the community. Sometimes you just send money 2 times. That's what you need to do. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And I mean anything wrong with that.
I got more perspective. I don't believe you.
Well, I'm not going to wholeheartedly agree with Steve on that. I mean, it's good when we talk about transparency. Yeah. But when you send that kind of money, there will be some payment plan for reimbursement.
Yeah, well, what were you? I mean, where the person reimbursement later on. You know what I'm saying?
But that was the best thing, I mean, to the listening audience, on a serious note, we really take our guys, especially the guys in Liberia. The economic situation and the job situation in Liberia. For some of us who come to SKTV, we could care less. But our guys are in Liberia, the 4 soldiers, the one that read this article, that bring all the fire story that all over the place. We always like to remind our listeners, try to contribute. Because, and another thing for the people in the diaspora, moving into the future, we want to bring SKTV. If we are doing, embark on certain projects in Liberia, SKTV will be the channel as the wish the people in the diaspora will be hearing their voices here. So when you come here, support the station any way you think you can, because there are some bigger plans in the pipeline and we try to push the team. I keep saying it all the time. I've been on Facebook for the longest, but I've never put my face on any other channel. I used to call the Lofa Julia show here and there, but I decided because they seen issue of being impartial. They seen issue of being pushing the Liberian people agenda. So I put face to SKTV and made a commitment that as long as I'm available, I will be here. So to our listening audience, do all you can and help this endeavor. And for our guys home, Barclay, those young guys. I mean, we think about Melbourne. Melbourne come here every single day.
Every day, man.
That's a commitment. Yeah. That's a commitment. So sometimes the $50, the $100 is nothing, These guys are going beyond the call of duty to do what they need to do. And we will appreciate it, no matter how much, but just keep the ball rolling, because this business is a kind of an expensive business as well. I mean, it's not something, if you want to get our own radio or TV station in Liberia, it takes money, and the kind of a commitment you will make that will motivate some of us to be coming here more, because like, what, we can let our people down because they are very supportive. So that will give us enough reason to be coming here almost every day to do what is needed to be done. So once again, thanks guys, and we will see you tomorrow, God's willing. Inshallah.
Well, thank you so much, my man. Thank you. We really appreciate that. We really appreciate you being part of this platform, man. Trust me.
So, Mr. Kane, did you do anything in return to that $50? Because
I'm not seeing. Let me see.
Okay, very good. God bless you for that. We're not going to negotiate that.
No, I'm not seeing any message.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even if we see message, we already agree. I've been working with the men in behind closed door. We agree unanimously that the money will not be returned for security reasons. So let's just move on. Let's forget about that person. And that person think bless their heart. We'll pray for them and things will be okay with them. We're moving on from that. So thank you, Mr. Cannon.
So just so you know, if the person calls back or message us back and say, I wanted to do $50, I will definitely send the $50 back.
No. We still agree unanimously behind closed so that we'll just work with the person. We can do refund over the period. But today, at least it's gone to the account. That working day, there is no way we can retrieve the money. You understand? So let's just work with the person. Let's leave the person alone. The person did well. Somebody saying that Geeks, thank you. Geeks Jim said, that's double. And I was singing a song here. Remember everything that double. Yesterday you were laughing with that song. You were asking if it's song that true song. That true song. That person has been to you that today that Sunday person came to church. And some things can be happening.
Gigi James, let me tell you right now. She took her love from month to day and give it to Steve. I'll watch it all the commenting.
Yeah, most definitely.
She's taking her love from Steve from month to day to Steve because the way Steve came on this whole Molu thing, she switched loyalty straight.
Yeah. We're appealing to the consciousness of our people.
So she said a double blessing.
Yeah, today a double Sunday. A double Sunday. Yeah. A double Sunday. Somebody said we're making you afraid. It may you very be careful when you send it, when you push in number, be careful. Don't be happy trigger. Because when you happy trigger, we'll receive the happiness here. We're not gonna no problem for that.
The person say making them scared. Okay, my man. Now we gotta give it that, right?
Yeah, but we sunny right? Because I
man, move on, man.
But last night, Mr. Cannon,
hey, don't say anything here. Don't say anything. I'll just say move on here. All right, I will see you in a little bit.
Yeah, folks, I thank you, Mr. Cannon.
You know what? Today, because of what you guys did today, I will not only do you hatai today. I will do you show blanc.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Anything you want to do, Just to celebrate SKTV, what you guys did today.
Now you now exacerbate my emotion. I feel very, very. I feel emotionally charged, charmed, intoxicated, and as I speak,
intoxicated emotionally.
Yeah, I'm constipated as well emotionally. So I'll be with you. I'll be with you in a jiffy for us to discuss.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tomorrow we'll be here. Some of these things will break them down. We know before the day ends tonight, there will be lots of news that will be breaking in Liberia. A lot of things will be happening. Mind you, we're getting a new week. So tomorrow I'll be here. Just part of the celebration tomorrow, I'll be here. I will not be at the office. I'll be here.
That'd be great. Steve, the person here keep calling. We'll come and go now, but let me hear for the question.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you calling to say you know double money or what?
I will do that. I'll do that. I'll be later, please.
No, okay, no problem. I just joking, but we gotta go now. We're leaving now.
I just came in, Ellen White and all our black. I didn't see them.
Okay.
But what I want to know is, so the economic crime here, when will it start?
As soon as Joe Walker signed the paper.
Yeah, I mean, what year or what time?
As soon as Joe Walker start, what they do?
That sign the paper tomorrow. It will start.
Okay, it will go all the way to 1989. So
yeah, for December 24, 1989.
Very, very good.
All right.
Very good. Because he was taken from 2018. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
She just wanted to know when we start. Steve, we'll not leave it. Other people are going to stop. People are going to continue to call.
Yeah. Okay. I'll leave you to close it.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Okay.
So my people that thank you. And thank you everybody for sticking around. We really, really appreciate your time. We'll be here tomorrow. The commitment to be here every day is tough, but it is what it is. We got to do the people's work. And we appreciate you guys. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.